Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update on the Urban Worm Bag. This is the second version, and this has my European night crawlers in it. Now, it's been just over a month since my last update in October, and it's November already. And let's just take a look and see how they're doing. This bin has been going really, really well lately. And as you can see in here, I'm not seeing any fruit flies leave or anything like that right now. I'm not seeing them crawl on the sides at all. We have our little trap in here. Still has some stuff in it. Looks a little bit humid or fogged over on the top there, but it looks like it's still doing well. I'm not seeing any worms on the bottom of it, so I'm going to go ahead and put that off to the side. And we're going to grab the glove here and start digging in. Now, overall, it looks like this is doing incredibly well. I think we fed last time on this side, so let's just dig over here a little bit. Let's just take a look and see how this looks. So we got this one mango seed right here, but overall, looks like it's starting to break down, but these should take a while. So we'll leave that off to the side. We have a second mango seed, so I must have had a lot of mangoes in that last feeding. Lots of castings over here. This looks like good material with, of course, the cardboard mixed in. We got lots of worms here, though. Look, we've got a lot of worms coming up back to the surface. They look nice and healthy. So we're finally getting this bin really up and working again. Actually, this is another piece of a mango seed. This one's probably been in there a little longer, and it's been broken down a little bit. You can see some of the springtails or whatever's inside there. So, but overall, this looks really, really good. I'm really impressed that these worms are starting to bounce back really well now that we got this fully functioning again. This looks like a piece of, this was probably, if I had to guess right here, an artichoke? I think that's a piece of an artichoke right here. Not that. This piece right here is a piece of an artichoke. We're still working on that. I think there's, the rest of it looks like it's gone. There was a lot of stuff we had in there last time, which was just around a month ago. Well, look at that. You can see, though, the worms are just all throughout here now. They look really healthy, really good. We're starting to get this population back up and running again after really I had a huge decrease in population. So let's put these back on that side. Here's another. So here we go. You can see here I've got 3 of these mango seeds right here. And they will work through those. They just take time. And there's actually a 4th. So we went through a lot of mango at one point in the household. And these seeds do get thrown in there. Let's pull this one apart here. See, right now it's just bugs inside. But the worms eventually do get their way in here. And they will take these apart as well. So now that that's open, they'll work their way in. Looks like looks like some more artichoke. Again, worms crawling all over it. Now let's move this over here to this side. Now, we also, of course, have some of our avocado shell in here. These take a long time to break down. They just eventually just grind apart, sort of like that. The worms do like it when they have actual artichoke, or I'm sorry, avocado in there. But right now, there's not much going on as far as that activity, as it's basically just a husk or the shell. And there's no actual food inside anymore. But they will eventually take these apart as well. They do break down slowly in the system. So we'll just leave those there for now. And let's dig on this side. Let's just take a look over here and see if there's anything on this side. Remember now, last time we fed on this side, and then the time before we fed on this side. And this is what I sort of do with these systems. I get them kind of going back and forth. So that way the worms have an area to kind of escape to where there's some of their food left over, and then they have a new area that they can go into. So you can see over here there's a lot more paper. Oh, look what we've got here. We've got our coconut shell. And there's a worm in there right now. So this thing will take a long time to break down, but you can see there's a worm working in there right now. But I've been leaving this in there. It feels like it's getting maybe a little softer. It's hard to tell, but I just want to see if they'll actually be able to go through this or not. This will turn into nothing. So we'll leave that in there. I think there's another half in here somewhere. Let's just dig down on this side over here. I'm trying to not block the view, but look at this. Look at this. These are really healthy worms in here. There's a huge population now in this system. They're really starting to work through some of this paper. They're starting to work through this material. They're working through everything. I mean, look at this. You can just see there's a ton of worms in here. And they look really, really healthy. You know, I mean, and of course you've got even more mango seeds. As I said, we went through a time when we were just going through a lot of them during the summer here, when they were in season. But look at this. This is really looking good. They are a little bit deeper here in the system than normal. For some, like my reds would normally be closer to the surface, but these guys don't mind digging in a little bit more. There are some chunks of soil in here, but this is doing really, really well so far, this system. We still have quite a bit of paper in here, but that's fine. They're going to continue to work through that. But let's just dig down here a little bit further. And you can see these worms are just coming back to life. You can see that there's good sizes in here, there's good amounts, but this was a system that was almost empty with just paper in it. And we were able to bring back the population over the course of a couple months, really. And we're just going to dig down just a little bit further here. We're all the way down into the bottom section now of the system. And we're just going to take one more look here. So we've got lots of worms here. We've got even some juvenile worm right here. So as you can see, this is really rebounded incredibly well. I don't think I could have asked for anything better at this point. We still have paper in here, but we're going to add even a little bit more this time because we're going to add another large feeding. And I sort of like to protect my worms by because all my food is frozen. And yes, I could thaw it out. I know that that's been mentioned a couple times, but that would require me to put it somewhere where I can thaw it out without doing damage or without it being infested with something. So we're going to throw in some of this cardboard here. We're going to throw in just a couple handfuls, just enough to create a barrier. And we're going to throw in a lot of food this time. So the first thing here is we've got this frozen section of food right here, which is apple, celery, coffee grounds. If I can get it out of here. There we go. Coffee grounds, banana peels, of course. I always have banana peels. And then also one thing that's kind of new in here, you can probably see a little bit in here, and there's some tea. So what's happened is I've been drinking a lot of tea lately, and I've been trying to compost in tea bags and some of my other systems. We're going to see how those turn out, but I've actually switched to using tea that's actually like this right here. This is all tea, and I have a fake bag that I put it in, and put it, that I boil the water, put it in a system that I can boil it, put the tea in this fake tea bag, and then I can get the tea back, so I can actually compost it rather than having a big plastic thing that I got to try to cut open. Or I don't know what the tea bags are made of, and some of the reviews that I've seen have said that they actually have a lot of plastic in them. So I'm trying them out, but right now in this system I don't want to get plastic in here. So now that's a small container compared to this one right here. This is a big container of food, and this has a whole mix of stuff in it, just as I normally would do. Hold on, I'm going to put the container down. And this has coffee grounds, avocado shells, apple, banana peel, strawberries. So again, it's a big chunk of frozen food. They will go through all of this over the course of a month. I mean, this is going to be just a small feeding for them. As you get these systems working, you can throw in more and more and more and faster and faster. It's amazing how these systems can get moving in such a way. Now I'm just breaking these apart a little bit so there's a little bit more space in here, and there's a little bit more room for the worms to get in, but also that way it's just not frozen together. It'll thaw it a lot more quickly that way. So there we go. Now I am going to add some of my grit this time. I haven't added grit in a while to this system, and as I'm turning it, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of little white specks, which usually is the grit. Remember, you do want to typically, if you're using this near your face or anything, you want to wear a mask. I'm using it down low, and this is a little bit damp. I'm putting on a lot of grit. That's going to allow the worms to chew through this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more paper on top of it. Just a few handfuls on top, just to kind of cover it up. And then we're going to bury this back in. A little bit more than that. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. So, there we go. Just a little bit to kind of cover it up. And this system, unlike the 10-gallon totes, you can really continue to add paper to these systems because the idea is that it builds up and then you harvest from the bottom. So with that, we're going to now kind of bury this in here, which is what we need to do. And actually, I'm going to bury this down in here because I don't really want that on top. There we go. Now that's buried in there. Oh, we got their mango seed right in here. We'll bury that down in there too, so that way there's no food on top. No good easy space or easy access. And that way we can kind of keep this going here. I don't know what that is right there. That's just a piece of something that's kind of dried up in there, I guess, for material. So here's another mango pit. As we said, I had quite a few of those, as I showed. Now the last thing I'm going to do, this is actually a little bit dry. I didn't think it was going to be, I thought it'd be moist enough, but we are going to add a little bit of water to this. Let me just grab my container. Actually, one thing I'm going to do first here, we're just going to add this back in on this side. Now, remember, for this container here, I'm putting it on the opposite side of the feeding. This is going to shrink down, and if I had it on top, it's going to fall over and possibly drain out. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that that's in the right spot. Let me just grab my container here with water. Now I am adding water with BTI mix in it. And for those of you that don't know, BTI mix are these dunks right here. And you know, I put a dunk in the water that I use, which is right here. It's just a regular 5-gallon bucket. I leave a dunk in there. I just keep refilling it till it's gone. And the idea being is that this BTI is going to kill any larvae and things like that for fruit flies or fungus gnats. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water over here. We're not going to add too much because there is moisture in here, and I don't want it to be swimming, but I just want to make sure that that there is some more moisture in there. Okay, that's enough, I think. I don't need to add too much. And that is our update for this week. So this system is doing pretty well. I'm really impressed that they were able to chew through that, and this was just over a month. I think today's the 15th of November, and my last update was on October 13th. So they're doing really, really well here, and hopefully this will continue with this system. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Thank you.